All right. Still here in the office. Sorry about that. You know, the other PC is still getting rebuilt. And yeah, it's taking a little longer than what I anticipated. With that being said, we have a couple of things we're going to be discussing today. This is more of a variety, let's call it video. Now, you can go watch the previous videos, two of them. We did on the whole Angry Joe saga. You want to see the conclusion of that, go watch those. Now, look, when you got two people that have followings going at each other, you're going to have people's followers obviously getting, let's say, involved in that. That should be, again, anticipated. With that being said, the other guy is, of course, griping about that, acting as if I've sent people over to his page because I guess he's getting ratioed. I'm not crying about being ratioed by any means because I haven't, but I wouldn't cry anyway. I mean, it is what it is. The internet, stuff happens. Nonetheless, a stupid person said something stupid. The Rippaverse got involved. And this is hilarious. I don't know if this guy woke up from a coma, but check this guy out right here. He says, can't wait for this dude to get hit by a class action lawsuit. Now, again, this is coming from this whole April O'Neil situation. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. For having millions of dollars donated to him to write a comic he'll never finish. Okay. Again, maybe he woke up from a coma. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. But as I had mentioned, dude, you're about 6 months late. I don't know, a while now. ISOM 1's campaign has long been fulfilled. We're working on it. ISOM 2, which is pretty much finished. We're just getting in the warehouse to get ready so we can get them printed and start the campaign. But, you know, we've moved on from that. You can still get ISOM 1, of course, at rippaverse.com if that's your thing. But as far as the campaign, they weren't donos. They were pre-orders, and they've all been fulfilled. So you're going to be waiting forever. I know you can't wait, but this is what it is, right? These people want... they see people doing well, and you know they try to conjure up stuff in their own mind to present people in these negative lights because they want everything stripped from them, livelihoods and so forth, which is how they justify all of their bad behavior. It's like, well, you had it coming, you are a bad person, therefore anything that I say, even if it's wrong, it's justified. With that being said, the book's out. You can still get it. Can't get cover A and cover B unless you maybe participate in some giveaway that we'll be doing in the future. But those things are gone. We've already been fulfilled. In that regard, we won. Get over it. But remember, this stems from this whole April O'Neil situation. Oh, and by the way, before I forget, remember that bald head wench that sit up here and was talking about how we take care of our books and, you know, acting like she's an expert and all that. It's funny. This guy posted in response to that previous post a 9.9. And it's a signed copy. Shout out to you. You got a rarity there. Shows how well we take care of our books. Certainly, nobody was scammed. Sorry, get over it. But let's talk about this because the other part of the video, or the other side of the video I really want to discuss is why people just somehow forget the whole decade of the 80s. I touched on it a little bit in my videos debunking the myth that April O'Neil was originally black. And of course, these guys keep sharing the same Screen Rant article, same, which misquotes, by the way, same Screen Rant article and all that, to perpetuate this lie that wasn't even a myth for 20 years until, you know, someone brought it up, and now all of a sudden it's a thing that's happened. Now you go again, watch those videos where I talked about that one where I did a deep dive on that if you want that information. But what I won't allow people to do is what they're trying to do is gaslight people and act like people with permed out curly hair was just not a thing in the 80s. And that somehow meant that the April O'Neil was black because, well, she's depicted as having darker hair, even though she only gets the hair that she has, darker curly hair, because, well, she got a new do, which she specifically talks about in issue 4. And she has that for a little bit and then it goes away. But it's the 80s, man. We're talking about the mid 80s at that. And when this was first kind of conceptualized going into the 84, 85, 86, and of course and beyond, white women wore perms. And this guy asked me to, he said, find me a white woman depicted this way in comics. And it's hilarious because I did them one better. I showed examples of this as well. You could see Cher, everybody. I mean, everybody's hair was like that. I mean, it's just how it was. You go look at your parents' yearbooks if they had one, or go look at your parents' pictures, and you will see that that's exactly the case. With that, also, you had people bringing this up, showing other pictures of all these people that had these perms as well throughout the 80s. They're acting like the Contra of, this is the arcade joint, of Contra. Dog, like, it was a thing. Like, you can't gaslight us in acting like this didn't happen. Like, this whole decade wasn't a thing. And that somehow, just because she appeared in a comic book and had puffy, curly hair, big hair often, she's black. Like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? You cannot gaslight us into acting like the whole deal didn't exist. But as I mentioned in my post, like, dude, look at the entire 80s and you look at some of the like even the Marvel and DC comics. Of course, those are colored, so it's not going to look like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic did. But look at all of them. Go look at the old Wonder Woman comics and how she had her big curly puffy hair through the 80s. Go look at She-Hulk, right? When she's She-Hulk. Big, curly, puffy hair. Tony Stark himself had curly, permed out mullet in the 80s, dude. This was just a thing that happened. Rogue's iconic look was the big, puffy hair. Like, I don't know why these people are acting. This is the thing about this conversation and many others around it, is that these people like to think that we all fell off the turnip truck and like we can't, number one, look the stuff up ourselves, or in the case of a lot of y'all, you lived through the decade this stuff was created in. Like they're trying to gaslight people and act like the history just started up and now, and then they only try to point to references and don't even do it like in context. The 80s was an interesting decade. Some of you lived through it. And people, including white women, had big puffy hair. Those are the facts. Wherever you're viewing the content, I appreciate you. If you enjoyed it, you may be interested in my comic book company, Rippaverse Comics. Our first book and campaign, ISOM #1, brought in $3.7 million with tens of thousands of satisfied customers. Visit Rippaverse.com to check out our store and stay up to date with the latest campaigns from one of the hottest new comic book companies. Also, my first big step towards a parallel economy was the development of my personal website, ericdjuly.com. This entirely replaced my Patreon. Now, if you enjoy this content, please consider becoming a member over at the website. We have an ever-expanding list of perks for various membership tiers, a forum, and a phone app. Some of these perks will even benefit you if you're fans of the Rippaverse. Anyway, I appreciate you so much for being a supporter and or customer. I even got a little love for my haters.